The Red Cross responds to nearly 66,000 disasters every year, most of them house fires. Red Cross President and CEO Gail McGovern says you need to develop an evacuation plan and practice it, especially with your children. It takes just 2 minutes for a home to be engulfed in flames.
Practice those drills. We all think our kids know what to do. They don't. We need to teach them. We have started a large campaign where we're going into vulnerable communities and helping install smoke alarms. Already 92 lives were saved, and 4 of those lives were saved by a 5-year-old girl who remembered what we taught them during these fire drills, and she got her family out. We also have a slew of free apps that people can download onto their smartphones. It's what to do in every kind of disaster you can imagine, how to prepare and how to recover.
To help support all the Red Cross does and to make a financial donation, go to redcross.org. That's redcross.org.
See that cute little dog in the pet store window? Chances are it came from a puppy mill. A breeding facility that forces caged, neglected, and often sick dogs to churn out puppy after puppy to be sold for profit. Meanwhile, millions of wonderful, healthy pets end up in animal shelters. This leads to the killing of more than 9,000 by the end of today. But with one simple choice, you can help. Just by deciding to adopt instead of purchase your next pet. Animal shelters are full of amazing pets looking for a home. When you adopt your new best friend, not only are you saving a life, you're taking a stand against puppy mills. When your friends see the smart choice and impact you've made, they adopt their next pet and share with 5 of their friends, who share with 5 more. Before long, thousands get involved. Pet stores stop selling dogs from puppy mills, and even more lives are saved. And with your help, we can save them all. Visit bestfriends.org/puppymills to learn more.
It's Thursday night, and you're grabbing drinks with some friends. Started off with a pitcher for the table, which quickly becomes 2. There's pool. And there's the photo booth.
All right, everybody squeeze in. Say cheese!
Followed naturally by an order of wings. And another.
Can we get some extra ranch sauce?
Then there's the ceremonial nightcap.
So what are we doing this weekend?
And lastly, it's back to the car, which, if you're buzzed, could be the most expensive night of your life. Getting pulled over for buzz driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzz driving, because buzz driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm Jeremy Schaap. You may know me from ESPN's Outside the Lines and Sports Center. What you probably don't know is that I've suffered from Crohn's disease for almost 20 years. The Crohn's and Colitis Foundation of America's Take Steps, Be Heard walk program is the largest national walk program dedicated to raising funds and awareness to combat Crohn's disease and ulcerative colitis. To learn more about how you can help and to find a walk site near you, please visit www.cctakesteps.org.
Think fast. In the short time it takes to listen to this message, a small flame can turn into a big fire. Several minutes more, and thick, poisonous smoke may have filled your lungs and reduced your ability to respond. Give it 5, and your entire home may be filled with flames.
Keep breathing. We've got you.
Don't let your world go up in smoke. Have working smoke alarms and practice an escape plan for you and your loved ones. Learn more at usfa.fema.gov, because fire is everyone's fight.
Have you mixed your pain meds, your sleep meds, your allergy meds? Call the Poison Helpline. Has your child eaten a tube of toothpaste, a chip of paint, a wild mushroom? Call the Poison Helpline. Have you been bitten by a spider, a snake, an insect? Call the Poison Helpline. Poisonings can happen at the home, on the job, or in the great outdoors. Call the Poison Helpline first for fast, free advice from medical professionals. Call 1-800-222-1222 anytime, anywhere. 1-800-222-1222. Save the number, save a life. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Every day, the men and women of the United States Marine Corps demonstrate their commitment to defend the American way of life. Since 1775, we have served our nation as a force in readiness. From combat operations to humanitarian assistance in every corner of the world. No matter where the mission takes us today, or wherever our country needs us tomorrow, we always remember the land we call home. As Marines, we take a stand for each other, for our nation, for us all, the few, the proud, the Marines.
Hi, I'm Hillary Duff. As a mom, I'm proud to support the March of Dimes in helping more women have full-term pregnancies and healthy babies. That's why I walk in March for Babies. The money we raise funds research and local programs that help babies overcome the challenges of premature birth and birth defects. Sign up today at marchforbabies.org. Together, we can help make healthier babies possible for thousands of families.
The following program is closed captioned for the thinking impaired.
Zinc Media. Feel the power of knowledge.
Studio located somewhere within the great granite state of New Hampshire is Rod Eccles.
And a good Wednesday morning to you, one and all. Wednesday, here it is, Hump Day. Yes, Weddings Day, Wednesday, July number 26 in the year of our Lord 2017. The call-in number this morning is 603-835-3226. As it is every morning. Glad you're here. We are halfway through the week. We've made it to the halfway point. We got a lot going on this morning. Got the Intel report coming up next hour. Don't want to miss that. Got some great stuff there. Agent 0010 is really breaking open some information files for you there, as well as Future Shock report. Interesting stuff in the Future Shock coming in the third hour. Don't want to miss that. One of your favorite. Let me just put it this way. I don't like doing teasers, but this may be worth teasing. Not that you're going to miss it, because you've probably noticed that you haven't been using it for a while anyway. But one of your favorite widely used programs is going bye-bye. Why? Well, because it's not so widely used anymore. Right now, what we have, and now we got some very interesting global warming garbage news today. Well, it's all man-made global climate change. Anybody watching Shark Week? Well, last night they were talking about sharks off the coast of L.A. and sharks appearing. Great whites appearing off of in New York Harbor, New York City, off the coast of New York City and Manhattan and Long Island and things like that. And the scientists or biologists, who whatever they want to call themselves, that are studying these animals, have figured out why the sharks are returning. Well, their numbers are increasing, is what they're saying. Now, why are their numbers increasing? Well, their numbers are increasing because their food supply is increasing. Now, what is the great white's favorite food source? Well, the great white shark's favorite food source is seal and sea lion. Now it takes quite a bit to keep a shark going. I think I heard last night something in the neighborhood of 4,000 to 5,000 calories per day. That's a lot of munching. Well, one seal will do that for them. In a sea lion, I guess all they have to do is eat 2 sea lions a week to be satiated for that. So that's not bad, actually, when you're looking at these large, basically perfect eating machines. That's all they are. They're just an eating machine. I guess they're there to try to keep check on certain populations, but the seal and sea lion populations all around the globe, because of the protections that man has placed on them, we've stopped hunting them. Their populations over the last 10 years all over the globe have exploded. So if you were used to not having to worry about sharks in your body of water, well, you better think twice about that, because if you've got sea lions or seals, harbor seals or bearded seals or whatever kind of seals near your swimming space, you're more than likely going to have some great white sharks and mako sharks out there, because that's what they like to eat. And there's been an uptick in shark sightings off the coast of New England. And that is because there are places like the Isle of Shoals off of the coast of New Hampshire and Maine, and other places have seen an explosion in the seal population as well. It just goes to reason. Food supply increases, population increases of the predator, right? Well, I mean, it's just like man. Whenever man has been able to increase its food supply, we've been able to increase our population. And that's true of any apex predator or top of the food chain type of animal. And it doesn't matter what the animal is, really. If you can increase the food supply of a particular animal, then you're going to get more of that animal. They're going to breed like rabbits, which is why oftentimes you find in certain areas, predators for small game. They begin to increase in population when the small game, like rabbits, increase. It's God's way of keeping things in check. So what's keeping humans in check? I'm not even going to get into that. But in any case, but after that, I bring that up because after that I went and I was flipping through. I've got YouTube on my Apple TV, and I just wanted to go over to Apple and just wanted to go check out something different. Every once in a while, I'll check out stuff on YouTube, because YouTube can be very entertaining and informative at the same time, believe it or not. Now, there was this one program on there that I thought would be kind of cool to watch, because it was talking about the future of megalopuses type of thing, what new technology and stuff is happening in what mega building projects are going on around the world. Now, it was very informative as far as what was going on around the world, like Turkey, what Turkey is doing, spending billions, possibly $1 trillion over the next 10 years in their infrastructure. Roadways are a big thing. Roadways and trains. Huge. Huge in developing countries especially. India is starting to step up with the need to build the problem with India is that India is the world's largest democracy. They caught up basically pretty much with China as far as population. China has like 1.35 billion people, and India has 1.3 billion people. Population-wise, they're pretty even. The difference comes in their economic status. Now, India is the world's largest democracy at 1.3 billion people. China is the largest country, period, but it's also the world's largest communist nation at 1.33 or 1.35 billion people. But China has pulled ahead economically because they've adopted certain things from the West when it came to building their infrastructure. India also followed a little bit of the West in building its infrastructure. It seems that India has built a brand new highway system, the beginnings of it, and there aren't many. It's like a four-lane highway in each direction, and it's not getting very much use. So it's not alleviating a lot of the traffic on other roadways in and around between cities. Now, why aren't people using this is funny. Why aren't people using this new highway? Well, they're not using the new highway because they have tolls on the new highway for you to use it. And the tolls are so high that only the upper class and the wealthy can use it, can afford to. So instead of lowering the tolls, where if they need tolls to help pay for this thing, so instead of lowering the tolls or getting rid of the tolls so they can alleviate the traffic congestion and pollution in the urban areas where this highway is leading to and from, no, they're gonna. we need the money. So we're going to charge, I don't know, the program didn't say how much it cost for a trip. But let's just say, I don't know, let's just say it's $20 to use to roadway. Well, who's got in India, it's not the same type of economy as we have here. But who wants to spend, like, say, $20 on a toll road? Well, the upper crust, the upper middle class, the upper class, the wealthy, sure, they may do it in order just to avoid the having to deal with the riffraff in the other roads. But is the regular middle class going to use that? No. I mean, hell, we got people in this country, at least up here in New England, myself included, that will oftentimes take a trip and avoid a toll road, knowing we're going to spend an extra 15 or 20 minutes on the road just to avoid a 75-cent toll. I kid you not. I often do it too. Because we say, why? Let's just enjoy the drive. So it takes me 15 or 20 minutes longer. Big freaking hairy deal. It's not a bad drive. Now, does it cost us more in gas? Probably. But we're going to spend the money on gas anyway. So why give the government more than we have to? I mean, that's the mentality of a lot of people around the country. And it's not just this country, it's around the world. Why give the government, whether they like the government or not, they just basically say, well, we're tired of being taxed. People around the world are tired of being taxed. They will avoid it. The big problem with this program, however, is the millennial who was narrating it. He had some good points, and just when he was describing all the mega structures all over but I couldn't watch the whole thing because it just got to the point where I'm thinking, you know what, dude, I need to find where it is on the computer, so I can comment, because he needs to shut the F up about his political commentary, because he's a bumbling idiot. He doesn't know what he's talking about when he gets off the tech issues. He has no clue what he's talking about, and it was just annoying at that point. All I want to do, in other words, he taken probably a 20-minute video and turned it into nearly an hour because he had to add his 2 cents of. There's the time to put your political, your political spin on stuff. But not a program like that. People are going there to see, well, what's going on around what kind of new stuff is coming up. Even a space project from NASA, he had to put a political spend 10 minutes giving his political opinion on. I'm like, what? Who are you? I wasn't interested in that kind of crap. I was interested in what NASA was doing, but he ruined it by I don't know. These leftists are just, they think that they have this know-it-all opinion. Well, what is the saying? Those who think they know it all are really annoying to those of us who actually do. But I'm being facetious about that. But those of us who are actually in this game and we look at this stuff on a daily basis, I knew right off that the guy was a bumbling idiot, and he was just going off a bunch of, because he was even talking about one one city in Nigeria is the oceans are rising, and I got some information today. He doesn't know what he was talking about when it came to that, because there's report after report after report saying that the ocean levels are actually falling. Why? Because the ice caps in the north and the south, Arctica and Antarctica, the polar ice caps are growing. So the ice has got to come from somewhere. So it's coming from the oceans, and if it's coming from the oceans, it means the ocean levels are falling. I don't. But anyway, but NASA supposedly has this. They're going to use all the stuff that NASA wants to do. They want to send some sort of like chip. I'm not kidding, just a chip into outer space to Alpha Centauri. And they want to, all the stuff that, except for the chip, all the stuff that they're going to use to send this like sail, to send this device to Alpha Centauri, which if they can get the speed up there, would take about 20 years for it to get to Alpha Centauri. Hasn't been invented yet. I mean, I love all this stuff. Hasn't been invented, but I don't know. Well, actually, all the components of the chip haven't been invented yet either. Because it's not even supposed to take 20 years. It's supposed to be going like 1/3. This is supposed to get. They're supposed to use lasers. Again, I've never seen this before, and he didn't spend enough time trying to explain it to people, because he went off in his stupid political rant about space and mankind and politics and blah blah blah. But evidently, they're trying to develop these kinds of lasers that would then be shot at this sailing device that has this chip in the middle of it. On this chip are cameras and communication devices and lasers. But this new laser that it has yet to be invented, is supposed to boost this sail. It's like a disc, basically, a square disc, like a Frisbee. So it's supposed to boost the speed of this space-like Frisbee to 1/3 the speed of light. Now, I don't know there's no controlling it. It's going to run into something out there. I'm sorry, it is. Just getting out of our solar system is going to run into crap. And they're even talking about, well, if it survives, this part of the trip and this part of the trip, then it'll make it here in, in this many years. I'm like, if it survives, it's not going to survive. It's going to run. Well, I know we have Elon Musk is out there pushing for a trip to Mars, a manned trip to Mars. And NASA, I guess now NASA is working on that as well. So 2040, we'll be able to start making maneuvers to get to Mars by the end of the century. That'll be, well, most of us won't be around in the year 2100, but it'll be interesting to see how fast we can get there, get to Mars, and how far we can get before most of us kick off and visit heaven or hell, as it were. Any case, we got a lot more to cover before the end of the program, so don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
You're listening to me, your lovable host, Rod, here on the Rod Eccles Show.
We've all heard of male enhancement, but now there's an expert on true male enhancement in the areas that really count. In Herb Ellis's book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, you'll find answers to questions like, why doesn't she want to have sex? A quick start, quick results workout guide. Plus, what you can do as a side hustle to make money now. With all the great tips in this book, every man can benefit. Get the book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, on Amazon.com.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
It started with a knock, but it wouldn't end there. What happens in the story next, many wouldn't understand, and most wouldn't believe. 5 + 2 = Perfection by Samuel Rosette Jr. is a must-read. The scriptures within are reminders of the ancient past, and yet intriguingly infuses with texts which stand on the edge of the stage of relevancy. Available online at Westbow Press, Amazon, Books A Million, Barnes & Noble, and SamuelRosetteJr.com.
And now a message from our sponsor. Ladies, tired of drying your hair with the same old vacuum cleaner? Try Avon Shave brand new Beauty Locks portable hair dryer. It's smaller, it's faster, it's guaranteed to give you the hair you've always wanted in half the time. Beauty Locks is delicate and dainty, just like you. The dryer weighs only a pound and easily fits in your hand. Now that's beauty and convenience. With a speedy motor that will dry your hair in as little as 25 minutes, you can get gorgeous hair without falling behind schedule. Don't worry about the little ones or that pie in the oven. Thanks to an extra-long extension cord, you can move around while primping your locks. Forget those long trips to the salon and no more waiting for hours under monster machines. Avon Shea gives you an easy and speedy hairdo that will blow your man away. Get it now at your nearest Macy's.
You're listening to The Rod Eccles Show. Let truth be told.
Kind of reminds me of something that Yanni would have composed. No, it's not composed by Yanni, but just something. It kind of makes you feel like you're flying in a glider or airplane. I don't know, maybe what was his name? John something. I can't believe I can't remember his name. Almost Heaven, West Virginia. And country roads take me home. And Rocky Mountain High, John Denver. How could you forget that name? Anyway. I remember being in choir. Yes, I was in choir in middle school. Back then, choir was not for geeks. It was for actually cool people. It was, well, at least in my school it was. And we had a teacher, a choir teacher, that if you did not have a decent voice or you couldn't carry a tune, you couldn't stay in the class. And we actually had auditions. Yeah, we had auditions to be in choir. Because it was in the middle of the day. It was during school. It wasn't music class. There was something called music class, and you could take choir to fulfill your music credit, or chorus. So I made the chorus or the choir, 7th, 8th grade choir, and you had to be cool and have to have a decent voice in order to be in the otherwise you got booted down to just regular music class. So that was kind of cool. I remember going to school in northern Michigan, and we sang a She loved Barbra Streisand and John Denver. I know, not the same kind of music, but we sang a lot in chorus. We sang a lot of Barbra Streisand songs and a lot of John Denver songs, and one of those was, we sang Rocky Mountain High in West Virginia, and there's another. I think was it John Denver? That's they call the wind Mariah. We sang some pretty obscure tunes, and some classics back in the day. Anyway, I still remember a lot of the lyrics to a lot of those songs. They're just embedded in your brain. You can never get. So whenever you hear the song, you instantly know. Like Moon River. We sang Moon River. Who sings Moon? Who even knows Moon River today? Moon River, wider than a mile. Yeah, so we won't go down that memory lane. In any case, we'll be back, folks, and get right into the meat when we return.
The Red Cross responds to nearly 66,000 disasters every year, most of them house fires. Red Cross President and CEO Gail McGovern says you need to develop an evacuation plan and practice it, especially with your children. It takes just 2 minutes for a home to be engulfed in flames.
Practice those drills. We all think our kids know what to do. They don't. We need to teach them. We have started a large campaign where we're going into vulnerable communities and helping install smoke alarms. Already 92 lives were saved, and 4 of those lives were saved by a 5-year-old girl who remembered what we taught them during these fire drills, and she got her family out. We also have a slew of free apps that people can download onto their smartphones. It's what to do in every kind of disaster you can imagine, how to prepare and how to recover.
To help support all the Red Cross does and to make a financial donation, go to redcross.org. That's redcross.org.
I'm just so happy my father had a chance to see his kids before he passed. I just want to say thank you.
When her father fell ill, the American Red Cross was able to help get Veronica's brother home from the Navy to speak to his father one last time. It's thanks to your donations that we can connect military families when they need it most. Please donate today at redcross.org.
It's Thursday night, and you're grabbing drinks with some friends. Started off with a pitcher for the table, which quickly becomes 2. There's pool. And there's the photo booth.
All right, everybody squeeze in. Say cheese!
Followed naturally by an order of wings. And another.
Can we get some extra ranch sauce?
Then there's the ceremonial nightcap.
So what are we doing this weekend?
And lastly, it's back to the car, which, if you're buzzed, could be the most expensive night of your life. Getting pulled over for buzzed driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzzed driving, because buzzed driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Every day, the men and women of the United States Marine Corps demonstrate their commitment to defend the American way of life. Since 1775, we have served our nation as a force in readiness. From combat operations to humanitarian assistance in every corner of the world. No matter where the mission takes us today, or wherever our country needs us tomorrow, we always remember the land we call home. As Marines, we take a stand for each other, for our nation, for us all. The few, the proud, the Marines.
I considered suicide so I wouldn't put my family through all the pain.
Many of our warriors are returning home from the battlefield, only to face a new war as they struggle with devastating injuries. At Wounded Warrior Project, we understand. We're there to help.
Even though you think you're broken, you're not. It's the physical and the emotional healing that Wounded Warrior Project provides.
With a gift of just $19 a month, you can join Wounded Warrior Project. You'll help provide critically needed programs and services that rebuild lives.
Beautiful. There you go, buddy.
The ongoing needs of our wounded and their families will continue for many years to come. Now is the time to show your support. Call now or go online with your gift of just $19 a month, and we'll send you this Wounded Warrior Project blanket.
It made me feel that there's people out there that care about us.
After this event, we can finally maybe start to heal as a family and move forward.
We need your help. The families are hurting.
For many of our wounded heroes, the greatest casualty is being forgotten. That's why your gift of just $19 a month is so important. Please, call or go online right now.
Welcome back, 603-835-3226. That is a number to call should you wish to join me here live here on the Rod Eccles Show. Trump takes a victory lap, so says the Daily Mail. He was in Ohio yesterday, just in case you didn't know. And he took a victory lap on healthcare. Trump has taken a page out of the Obama playbook. And the left is kind of ticked about this. They don't know what to do about it because they keep coming out with all these stupid, phony, fake, polls that say that his popularity is waning and he's dropping support. And he just goes out and does a rally and gets another 10, 20, 30, 40,000 people to each of his rallies, which blows the whole thing out of the water about him losing his support. For not being a politician, Trump is actually doing a lot of things politically right, which is, you're never going to hear this from the left, by the way, because they're going to keep, or the right, because people on the right are going to keep telling him, well, stop tweeting, stop. They're all focused on his tweeting. Problem is that the reason why they don't like him tweeting, regardless of sometimes he probably tweets something he shouldn't tweet. But the problem with his tweeting is that his tweeting works, and it isn't turning anybody off. As a matter of fact, Trump's tweeting is probably the one thing that is keeping his support as high as it actually really is. And they can't stand that. Trump's a Republican. He's supposed to be silent and take all these attacks. This is why you got people like, Mila and Joe Scott, they're incensed when he retaliates on them. Well, you're not supposed to retaliate on the press. We're the media. We can say any damn thing we want. You're not going to. Hey, I've warned everybody. I've told them Donald Trump is not George W. Bush. He is not going to be silent. If you think he's going to be like a regular Republican politician of the last 30 years or so, you are sorely mistaken. Donald Trump is not. I mean, look. I mean, it is so bad. Trump is all over the place. And I know he was out playing golf again, and they're saying, "Well, see, he still hasn't played as much golf at this point in his tenure as president as Obama did." But that's beside the point. The guy is still getting a whole hell of a lot done. Well, he's always traveling. He's never at the White House. He's everywhere, man. He's being the president, but a modern president by being everywhere. Now, maybe these people should start using more technology and in virtual technology in order to be everywhere. But in any case, he takes his victory lap on the healthcare vote. He also tangles with some protesters and jokes about being on Mount Rushmore at his Ohio rally. And yes, Melania was there, as well as his daughter-in-law, Laura. Not Laura, Lara, Lara. They were in Youngstown, Ohio, the sixth such campaign rally. Campaign-style rally? It is. He's taking, what? That's the other thing. See, Obama was very good. He was the first major politician to figure out social media and how to utilize it. And that's the other thing that the left is upset with, because Republicans outside of Trump really don't know how to utilize social media to Republicans. Folks, I'm going to tell you this straight up. Social media to Republicans, to the blue blood Republicans, the leading class Republicans, the upper crust, social media is beneath them. Now, you can believe me or not, but just look at their actions. Do you really think that they don't have the ability to learn how to use social media properly? No, of course they do. They have the brains and the money if they don't have the brains. The reason why they don't is because social media is beneath them. Darling, we don't Facebook and we don't Twitter and LinkedIn. It's for the sorry poor class. What's wrong with you? We don't utilize social media. It's beneath us. I'm telling you, that is it. So Trump, Donald and Melania spoke in Youngstown, Ohio, and before they took the stage, Trump's pregnant daughter-in-law Laura and first son Eric warm up the crowd. So Laura, Lara, Laura, and her husband Eric Trump are expecting their first child. At least 3 protesters were kicked out of the Covelli Center, the converted hockey arena. And President Trump took victory lap after Tuesday's 51-50 Senate vote that moved Obamacare repeal bill forward. Trump was in a usual mood to bash reporters, calling the news media a dishonest group of people, which they are. Warmest and most sustained applause was for economic issues, jobs, and revitalizing factories. And Trump even invited a few Democrats who voted for him up to the stage where he proceeded to give them genuine hugs. However, there was a man holding a pillowcase that was a pillowcase. Painted with "Trump Pence must go," shouted at the president from about 20 yards away, but he was eventually escorted from the building. On a pillowcase, no doubt. These people are just, they're amazing. Amazing. On a pillowcase. Gotta love it. Gotta love it. On a pillowcase. Trump Pence must go. Maybe he should sleep on that. But Trump was basically out there. He's in Ohio. He was in Ohio, and he was taking a victory lap on this healthcare thing. Look, I personally think it's a little premature. It's a lot premature. I don't know where the Republicans are going right now. They are so flabbergasted. Their hatred for Trump, their disdain for our president is legend right now. They are willing to risk losing control of the Senate and the House by acting the way they're acting versus supporting the president. I mean, it is the most asinine thing I've ever seen. And the big thing is that they all know that they could, many of them who are up for election or re-election in 2018 are in the hot seat. And yet their disdain, their anger, their hatred for this guy is blinding them. So instead of doing the right thing, they're willing to sacrifice and do the wrong thing just to oppose Donald J. Trump. How about this one? Republicans toy with a tax on the First Amendment. This is from LifeZet. I kid you not. Unsure how to pay for meaningful, lasting reform, GOP policymakers weigh levy on advertising. Yes, President Trump and the Republican-controlled Congress have laudably made passing tax reform, real tax reform, not just shuffling money from one group to another, a top priority. However, some supply-side economics skeptics are open to the possibility of taxing free speech. This is what you always have to look out for when these people want to give you tax reform. They always want to cut taxes over here. But then the problem is that the reason why you don't see any real tax savings in your wallet. Oh, sure, you may see some tax savings on your IRS form, but you never see any tax savings in your wallet. Why? Because they give you a tax cut on this side, and then they create new taxes or increase taxes on this side. So if you're you're over there and you're filling out your IRS, W-2, W-4 forms every year, and you think, oh yeah, we got my tax rates down, so I get to save money. And you look around and you say, but why is there no money in my wallet still? In fact, there's less now than there was before. I didn't spend any more. Well, that's because they raised taxes somewhere else. Because they had to pay for, quote unquote, your tax cut. No, you don't get to pay for a tax cut. Tax cuts mean that you get less. But actually, the reality is oftentimes if you issue income tax cuts correctly without raising taxes other places, the government will economic prosperity and an economic boom will take place, and the government will end up with more taxes in their coffers. Happens over and over and over and over again. Every time they try it and do it, this is what happens. Revenue to the Treasury goes up. But yet we still hear this stupid notion, well, we got to pay for it. Well, it's all due to Democrats. Democrats, what's the tax cut for the rich? How are you going to pay for this? First of all, you don't pay for it. There is no paying for it. This is nonsense. You got it backwards. You see all this money that's floating around out there that the American people earn, it doesn't belong to the government. It never has and it never will. Well, when we tax it, we bring it in. It's still not the government's money. It's the people's money. It's one of those... unbelievable that we have to keep going through this time and time. Every time it means meaningful tax reform or tax cuts to the regular Joe, middle class you and me. The Democrats always turn it around and say it's a tax cut for the rich. Well, I remember when presidents who gave us genuine tax relief or tax cuts, I remember having a lower rate and more money in my paycheck. And yet the Democrats are still out there saying it was a tax cut for the rich. And I kept thinking, well, geez, I guess they must be saying I'm rich. I'm not. But anyway, as the big six, I guess, are meeting to discuss which deductions to keep or eliminate, and Ways and Means Committee Chair Kevin Brady must quell these whispers of taxing advertising. Imposing such a levy would trample on our country's liberty and values, setting a dangerous precedent for further constitutional breaches in the foreseeable future. Why not pay for tax advertising? It's the we tax everything else. We do. We tax just about everything else. So I don't know. Why not tax advertising, right? Maybe we'll get some truth in advertising if it gets taxed.
Hello, America. It's me, your history. I remember a time when we thumbed our nose in a king's face, sent him packing. And when fascists and emperors talked a little bit too loud, we showed up, tore their cities to the ground, and then rebuilt them just to prove we could. We put men on the moon, we won a Cold War, and we elected fearless leaders who led fearless people. What the hell happened to you, America? Back in my day, we didn't elect a big-eared community organizer. We punched him in the kidney. Maybe it's time you came home, America. Home where you belong.
We've all heard of male enhancement, but now there's an expert on true male enhancement in the areas that really count. In Herb Ellis's book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, you'll find answers to questions like, why doesn't she want to have sex? A quick start, quick results workout guide, plus what you can do as a side hustle to make money now. With all the great tips in this book, every man can benefit. Get the book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, on Amazon.com.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
It started with a knock, but it wouldn't end there. What happens in the story next, many wouldn't understand, and most wouldn't believe. 5 + 2 = Perfection by Samuel Rosette Jr. is a must-read. The scriptures within are reminders of the ancient past, and yet intriguingly infuses with texts which stand on the edge of the stage of relevancy. Available online at Westbow Press, Amazon, Books A Million, Barnes & Noble, and SamuelRosetteJr.com.
This is Free America broadcasting on the Rod Eccles Show with a message to all patriots trapped behind the lines in California, New York, Boston, and Chicago. Don't give up, true lovers of America. Even as we speak, moves are being made to drive the invaders back to the land from which they came. Defeat the would-be dictators and lift the chains of tyranny from around your neck. Stay strong. Stay brave. You're not forgotten, and you're not alone. Until next time, patriots, this is Free America signing out.
Call Rod now, 603-835-3226. Lines are open.
is in a funk that they just can't seem to get out of. They can't seem to get out of their own stupid. Anyway, House Republicans seek to dodge border wall vote. Yes, House Republicans are poised to fund the $1.6 billion for President Trump's border wall through a procedural maneuver designed to avoid a floor vote that might fail. if all Republicans were on board, I don't know how it could possibly fail, which tells you that all Republicans are not on board. The House Rules Committee is expected to attach funding for the wall that Trump has proposed building along the Mexican border, to the so-called minibus, a downsized spending package for the Pentagon, Energy Department, and Department of Veterans Affairs, and the legislative branch, but not the DHS, the cabinet agency responsible for the wall. If an amendment to fund the wall is adopted by the Rules Committee, this line item can circumvent a floor vote, sparing GOP immigration moderates and fiscal hawks from being pressed to approve a project that their constituents might view as xenophobic, misguided, and wasteful, and sparing GOP leaders possible defeat. There is no possible defeat. The people in their districts want them to pass this bill and build the damn wall. These people are going to possibly lose their seats if they don't. I hate to. We can't allow the Democrats to get back in power. We can't allow them to control either the Senate or the House right now. We can't allow them to do that. And many Americans will refuse to, as pissed off as they will be about the Republicans and how they're acting, they'll refuse to vote for a Democrat because they know that they're 10 times worse. So it comes to the point, well, what do you do with these Republicans who aren't acting like conservative Republicans? How do you get rid of them? It gets really, it's hairy and it's scary. Why? Because you can oust a Republican by primarying them and getting somebody new in their place, but now you got this new guy, this new person in there, which many people probably don't know. So will they come out and vote for them? And will the new guy, because he doesn't have any experience, quote unquote, will he lose to the Democratic challenger? That's a real fear that voters have. And they shouldn't have it. Outsiders coming in, winning, happens all the time. And now an outsider coming in and winning has happened at the highest level, at the presidency. So the whole notion that people are there's a legitimate fear for this is a red herring. And it's foisted upon us by those incumbents telling us, well, geez, if you put in a new person and not an incumbent, then the new person is going to lose to somebody more experienced on the other side of the aisle. And in any case, what you got for most of the time on the other side of the aisle is another newcomer. So it'd be newcomer versus newcomer. Okay, so... and even sometimes if they go up against somebody that is trying to come back or is well known on the Democrat side, a lot of times these people have a lot of baggage, and it doesn't help them at all. The name doesn't help them. In fact, sometimes when it comes to Democrats, the name can be, in certain districts across the country, can be downright detrimental. But if you have the right person who isn't afraid to take on the left on the GOP ticket, they can destroy a Democratic opponent and win quite handily. Look, we've seen this in the special elections leading up to this, by the way. Just saying. Don't always buy this garbage from them that you can't win, because we most certainly can win.
Have you ever thought to yourself, I'm a leftist elite Hollywood a-hole? If so, good news. The Rod Eccles Hollywood Community College is now open, featuring such courses as unemployment is not paid vacation. No, Americans don't want to spend $19 for an order of French fries, and the ever popular shut the hell up. Why, just listen to this big-time celebrity endorsement.
I'm not Rosie O'Donnell, and I think this school's offensive, sexist, and racist.
And I think you're a giant a-hole who needs to shut the hell up. Hey, we teach a course in that. The Rod Eccles Hollywood Community College, where being an a-hole is not a guarantee you'll be an A student.
Thousands of families affected by disasters, like the recent wildfires, urgently need support. You can help the American Red Cross provide warm meals, shelter, and hope to families when they need it most. Please donate today to Red Cross Disaster Relief to help people affected by disasters, big and small. Go to redcross.org or call 1-800-RED-CROSS today. Your support is critical. We can't do it without you.
I'm just so happy my father had a chance to see his kids before he passed. I just want to say thank you.
When her father fell ill, the American Red Cross was able to help get Veronica's brother home from the Navy to speak to his father one last time. It's thanks to your donations that we can connect military families when they need it most. Please donate today at redcross.org.
Were you born from 1945 to 1965? People born during these years are 5 times more likely to have hepatitis C. So even if you try to eat right, exercise, and take care of yourself, you could still have hepatitis C, a serious disease that's a leading cause of liver cancer. If you were born from 1945 to 65, you should get a blood test for hepatitis C. Treatments can cure this disease. Talk to your doctor about getting tested. A message from the CDC.
Think fast. In the short time it takes to listen to this message, a small flame can turn into a big fire. Several minutes more, and thick, poisonous smoke may have filled your lungs and reduced your ability to respond. Give it 5, and your entire home may be filled with flames.
Keep breathing. We've got you.
Don't let your world go up in smoke. Have working smoke alarms and always stay in the kitchen when cooking at high temperatures. Learn more at usfa.fema.gov, because fire is everyone's fight.
Have you mixed your pain meds, your sleep meds, your allergy meds? Call the Poison Helpline. Has your child eaten a tube of toothpaste, a chip of paint, a wild mushroom? Call the Poison Helpline. Have you been bitten by a spider, a snake, an insect? Call the Poison Helpline. Poisonings can happen at the home, on the job, or in the great outdoors. Call the Poison Helpline first for fast, free advice from medical professionals. Call 1-800-222-1222 anytime, anywhere. 1-800-222-1222. Save the number, save a life. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Premature birth is the #1 killer of babies. Those who survive often face birth defects and complications that affect them for life. For hundreds of thousands of families in the United States, this is the hardest thing they will ever have to face. And it's even harder on the baby. March of Dimes is providing education and support to families and funding life-saving research to give every baby a fighting chance. You can help. Do something today. Give them tomorrow at marchofdimes.org/tomorrow.
It's pretty amazing when you consider that 7 years ago, we didn't have the treatments we have now. We cure 80% of children with cancer. Go back 50 years, we were curing 20 to 30%. This is the miracle story of modern medicine. We understand what makes this cancer tick. And of course, without donors from around the world, this just couldn't happen. There's one thing we're focused on, and that's beating this thing.
St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Finding cures, saving children. Learn more at stjude.org.
Not on my watch, our military service members say, as they volunteer to serve. As they move out, stand firm, and take fire. So not on our watch, we say, to the severely ill or injured veterans who can't get the care they deserve to live full and independent lives, even when there's no government funding, or a nursing home seems like the only option. We won't leave one warrior behind. Not on our watch. Join us at findwwp.org.
Every day, the men and women of the United States Marine Corps demonstrate their commitment to defend the American way of life. Since 1775, we have served our nation as a force in readiness. From combat operations to humanitarian assistance in every corner of the world. No matter where the mission takes us today, or wherever our country needs us tomorrow, we always remember the land we call home. As Marines, we take a stand for each other, for our nation, for us all. The few, the proud, the Marines.
America's wounded warriors are coming home. After serving on foreign shores, these brave men and women are returning to their families and communities. Many have wounds you can see, and many have wounds you can't see, like post-traumatic stress disorder. Now that these warriors are back home, they are ready to enter the civilian workforce. To help, Wounded Warrior Project has developed the Warriors to Work program, a career counseling service that helps warriors translate their military experience to the civilian workplace. These extraordinary men and women bring proven world-class job skills and a unique perspective on teamwork to the job. And to ensure the right warrior finds the right job, Wounded Warrior Project works with employers to find just the right match. When you hire a wounded warrior, you hire an intelligent, talented, and committed new employee. Contact Wounded Warrior Project at findwwp.org. Welcome home the brave.
You want to know what time it is? It's time to bring the rain.
Zinc Media. Feel the power of knowledge.
Studio located somewhere within the great granite state of New Hampshire. It's Rod Eccles.
Welcome back. It is I, your lovable host, good old L-Rod, Lightning Rod, Rod of Truth. Somebody told me I should take a picture of me with a lightning rod in my hand. Lightning rod? Well, a lightning bolt, huh? I don't want to ever appear to be like they used to do with Obama. Anybody ever notice how they tried to make Obama appear godlike? They would lower the cameras so you had an upward view of him, and they also would oftentimes have this type of reverb in his voice when he spoke, giving him this appearance and presence of some sort of otherworldly deity. It was a technique that was used. It's often used when you want to make people seem bigger than life. It's nothing that they didn't invent it just for Obama, by the way. I'm just saying it, but it's already was used a number of times. Political people and people that they don't want to appear so big. Well, they'll shoot them. Video wise, they shoot them from a slight downward angle instead of upward angle. So you're kind of looking down on them. So that's the whole point. You look down on somebody, meaning that you got to notice these little things. You got to notice these little things and what the media does. You can see it all the time in movies and TV shows. When they want to change how you see a person, they'll change the angle of the shot. And depending on the angle of the shot is going to influence how you see that particular character. It's classic stuff. And I didn't even go to film school to figure that out. To learn it. I just, you look at it and see. You can tell every time. And lighting has a big to do. So, and how many times did we see Obama when behind him was some sort of seal or flag or what have you, but his head they filmed him in such a way where you did not see the inner part of the seal. All you saw was the outline and the outer part, the outer ring, and it looked like a halo. They did that over and over. It was so obvious. You know, kind of like whenever you see the Virgin Mary, that kind of halo that Virgin Mary has behind her head, that's what they were trying to do to Obama. I have yet to see that done to Donald Trump, though. Anybody notice it? Nobody's seen. Donald Trump doesn't do that. The press doesn't do that for Donald Trump. They don't make him seem bigger than life or godlike. Anybody notice that? I'm just saying. Just saying. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm not so, I'm just one of those people that notices stupid stuff. Any case, it is a time definitely for that time of week. It is time for the Intel Report with Agent 0010. Good morning, Agent. How are you doing?
I'm doing good, Rod. How are you?
I am blessed and highly favored, as usual.
Grooviness, as usual.
So, yes, you and your grooviness. I used it once, and he slapped me for it. Agent Double, he said, "That's mine. You can't say that." Okay, we'll let him keep grooviness. That's his shtick. So, have you noticed the filming? How they filmed the way that they're filming Trump versus the way that they filmed Obama? And I'm not crazy, right? I mean, this is something that's real, that's noticeable. Or am I just thinking that this?
No. What you have to do in order to find pictures like that, I mean, you're absolutely right. But to find those pictures, you have to go through the print publications. They're the ones that really put those pictures out there of certain angles to make them look superior, to look almost immortal, godlike. And you're absolutely right. But me, I'm a jerk. And I admit it. Freely admit that I am a jerk. And when I see pictures like that, I'm like, what I'm looking to see is, did he clean his nose? Does he have boogers? Did he trim his nose hairs? Oh, he's nasty. He got a booger. I'm a jerk. I'm sorry. I'm just certified jerk.
A lot of people might think that way too when they do something like that. But okay. Geez, now that makes me self-conscious. I got to make sure that everything is perfect before I appear anywhere. Well, we do have a lot to cover this morning, and I know there are a number of things that you wanted to cover. So where did you want to start off this morning?
All right, look, I want to start off with this whole thing about the New York Times. Now, yes, the president has been calling them the failed New York Times. Side note, he's calling them the failed New York Times, not because he feels like it, but because they've been failing since 2008, when they started conducting a buyout of their employees. These people were offered money to buy out their contract so then they can leave the New York Times. This started in 2008, so they've been failing for a while now. So this has nothing to do with POTUS. This has nothing to do with the Republicans. This has everything to do with the fact that the New York Times just can't get their heads out of their butts. Now, the New York Times reported two stories. One story was a possible hit on the head of ISIS, which is al-Baghdadi. But when they reported this, the CIA had to cease all operations. They scrubbed that operation for the simple fact that al-Baghdadi found out, and they had to stop. He changed everything. He changed who he traveled with, how he traveled, the routes that he used to travel. Everything had to cease. They changed everything, and the CIA had lost golden opportunity because of the New York Times and a leaker. The second report is the one that is the most dangerous. They turned around and reported that a covert operative for the CIA was working in Iran. They put the guy's name in there. The CIA then turned around, scrubbed the mission, and pulled him out of that mission. CIA operative is safe. Here's the problem. In the intelligence community, it is damn impossible to find an informant or somebody that's on the inside to work with the intelligence agency or the United States. Once we find one, he is gold. He or she is gold. This individual is a prized treasure to be cherished, to be taken care of. But once the operation ended and they pulled out the agent, guess who was left behind? Oh, yes, the informants. Do you think the Iranians weren't looking for people that made contact with this one individual now that they have his name and basically know what he looks like? So, of course, they're going to start looking for individuals that had contact with him. Once they find these people, you think they're going to be nice to them? They're going to be tortured. They're going to be questioned. They're going to spend months being questioned under torture. And eventually, if the Iranian government feels like it, they'll kill them once they feel they have enough information. So now we have a loss of informants. We have a loss of operatives that are embedded. Because if you're high up in a government, you're high up for a reason. You're trusted. You're brought in, you're trusted. And to find somebody who's willing to turn that is trusted within a government or regime is damn near impossible. And when we find them, we take care of them. But we couldn't pull these informants out. So basically, I'm pretty sure they're dead.
Well, because it's dangerous stuff. The real spy game it's not like a movie.
No, it's not.
These people don't. A lot of the so-called spies they end up being double agents because they're working inside their own government or country, and they can't leave all of a sudden.
No, they can't.
Because oftentimes if they do leave, they have to leave their families behind, and their families get slaughtered.
Oh, yes. Oh, okay, so he can take his wife and his children, or she can take her husband and children, but she can't take her parents. He can't take his parents. They can't take their in-laws. So these people are left behind and tortured until something is done, like teach everybody else a lesson, which is pretty effective, or this individual returns back to the country to face charges, which is going to be the death penalty. So therefore, the spy game is not something you watch on television. If I ran down the list of injuries that I've had in my career, Rod, you'll sit there and say, what is holding you together? And I'll just simply tell you, duct tape. That I put on, because I'm not going to the VA. I refuse to go to the VA. Oh, hell no.
Well, don't blame me on that one. We've got some issues here in New Hampshire with the VA. I'm glad to see that in our state they are moving to try to clean up things in the VA. The administrator and another high-level person in the VA in Manchester, New Hampshire, were recently sacked, as the British would put it, basically for incompetence. It's about damn time. Everybody's cheering that, but and they're investigating other aspects of how the VA is run here. It's about damn time. But what we have is a whole series of people who are running around out there in the past and in the present who are trying to do their duty and do their job and do their due diligence to keep this country safe. And when they come back after doing their job, and oftentimes dangerous work, and a lot of times you don't even know. I mean, because I know there are people out there that claim, well, everybody knows who's a spy. No, you don't.
No.
I mean, we didn't even know. We did not. My family did not understand and know until after my father's death and going through his papers did we realize that my father, for probably about 15 of his 22 years in the U.S. Air Force, was in military intelligence. We had no clue.
I know exactly what your dad did. I know exactly what your dad did, and that was very. What your dad did in the United States Air Force was very important. And his job helped out a lot of people. And because of that, I'm not going to sit here and tell you exactly what he did because it's nobody's damn business.
No, it's not. I was just shocked to find out. Nobody was more shocked than my mother. I mean, I'm his wife. You think I would have known this? I'm like, well, Mom, you can't tell you all that stuff. But yeah, these people, when they get into this type of community, and there's a lot of things that are on the line. Well, you know what? It makes a hell of a lot of sense. Now that I look back on my life as a kid, it makes a lot.
You know what?
The people that surrounded me and my family at certain times, now it makes sense. And folks, I'm telling you, it's not. Let's just say that there were people that oftentimes, my father was not an officer. He was a master sergeant when he retired. But let me tell you, there were times when we had armed protection. And you would think me as a kid wouldn't notice that. Oh, we notice. Trust me. And I had no idea what they were there for. You know, I always thought it had to do with some sort of stupid war between the Greeks and the Turks when we were in Greece. No. It turns out it had much more to do with that. And I later found out that there were kidnappings in Greece of people's, military personnel's family members, especially their kids. There were three such events while we were there. So now I know why. Look back and know why we had armed military escorts sometimes.
Well, I mean, there were times where I had to work with a host nation, and it wasn't because I was doing a track on. I was working with them on an exchange of information, and I had military escorts. I had armed escorts. I had people drive up to my hotel. 3 cars would pull up. I jump into the middle car, and we'd just shoot through the city. And most cities around the world, the speed limit is anywhere between 25 to maybe 35 miles an hour. We were going at 45, 50 miles an hour through city streets. And there's a reason for that. And I'm not going to say why, but there's a reason behind it. Yeah, and it's not because I was late for work.
So this whole notion that you have these informants, they're putting not just their own lives, they can handle putting their own lives at risk.
There's another catch. There's another danger behind that too. And that danger is that if the host nation or the government finds out that this person is an informant, they can turn around, take their family members' hostage and say, we want you to help set up this individual or this group of people from the CIA because we're going to get rid of them. So now this individual is put in a position where he has to turn against his CIA informant or his CIA operative. That puts the agent in a perilous situation as well. Now, thanks to the New York Times, it's a whole slew of things that could have gone wrong. But because they didn't turn around and say, hey, CIA, we've got this information. What should we do it? What should we do with it? The CIA is going to tell them, don't use it. But the New York Times turns around and says, oh, well, we didn't get any pushback from the CIA because you never went to the agency. You never spoke with them. You never told them this is what you got. You never did that. You never set up an actual timeline where you were able to report this eventually when things settled down or calmed down or when the objective was met. You never did that. You just went off and printed it without speaking to anybody. And that is not journalism. That is basically putting a price on somebody's head.
Yeah, but they don't care about stuff like that. So it's all about being first to print, right?
Exactly.
I don't. This whole, when you're the New York Times is actually it really is a failing publication, and they're continuing to fail. And the main reason is because, one, they don't publish the truth. They've forgotten what real journalism is like. They need to go to the Woodward and Bernstein School of Journalism to figure it out again. Look, Woodward and Bernstein themselves constantly talk about that journalism is dead. It's not just Sean Hannity saying it. We don't have journalism in this country anymore. It's so few of them do it. Most of them are now reporters. And there's a difference. And they're reporters and they're storytellers. They're not journalists.
Yeah, I covered that. I'm a jerk.
Oh, well, anyway.
No.
Can you hold on? We're at the bottom of the hour. We got to get to the breaks. And can you hold on till after the bottom of the hour break?
Easier done than said.
All right. We'll be back, folks. Don't go anywhere. Much more to cover. Boy, a lot more.
You're listening to the Rod Eccles Show, the coolest, most politically incorrect, conservative black man on the planet.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
We've all heard of male enhancement, but now there's an expert on true male enhancement in the areas that really count. In Herb Ellis's book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, you'll find answers to questions like, why doesn't she want to have sex? A quick start, quick results workout guide. Plus, what you can do as a side hustle to make money now. With all the great tips in this book, every man can benefit. Get the book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, on Amazon.com.
It started with a knock, but it wouldn't end there. What happens in the story next, many wouldn't understand, and most wouldn't believe. 5 + 2 = Perfection by Samuel Rosette Jr. is a must-read. The scriptures within are reminders of the ancient past, and yet intriguingly infuses with texts which stand on the edge of the stage of relevancy. Available online at Westbow Press, Amazon, Books A Million, Barnes & Noble, and SamuelRosetteJr.com.
You know, a couple of weeks ago, a long-haired young person came into our bank and said to me, I bet you won't lend me money to buy an electric guitar. Well, he was making $100 a week, and he was over 18, and I said, I bet you I will lend you money to buy an electric guitar. And I did. So what happens? The punk gets busted for possession of dangerous drugs, and we're out $350. There's one thing about kids nowadays. You don't have to give them credit.
Universal Bank. We trust you. About as far as we can throw you.
603-835-3226. You know, I was just introducing some levity into the chat room. Does anybody know well, now that I've already said it, anybody know the one of the most offensive Disney movie titles of all time? And, of course, evidently nobody understood or knew what I was talking about. But anyway, I didn't think about this for a second. Think about it. One of the most, by today's standards, one of the most offensive. You could not have a movie. Why do you think they don't remake every Disney movie? They could not remake this movie. And there are a number of reasons why they haven't made it, because they'd have to really change the story around. A lot of racial epithets going on there that people would just be upset about. But the movie is a childhood favorite, by the way. It's about a flying car. Some people may not know what I'm talking about, but many, if you're over the age of 40-ish, you probably know. And you've probably seen the movie starring Dick Van Dyke, Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. Think about it. That movie could not be made today. It couldn't. Just saying. And just how far we have sunk. We're not enlightened people. I know they like to say that we're so enlightened. We're not enlightened people. Are you kidding me? We're less enlightened than they were 100 years ago. We just think that we know more, and we really don't. In many aspects, back then they sort of knew what they didn't know. Today, we don't even know what we don't know. And what's more, we're so arrogant about it that we don't even care. In that when somebody comes up with new information, we poo-poo it and pish it and toss it aside and say, that's not possible or no. And with today's technology, we're able to change the scope of things that we have always thought were true. And come to find out, those things are not so true. Why? Because we're so fixated on popular culture and politically correct movies. I mean, it's just And so we think that we've actually gotten to the point now where just like in that Tim Allen movie, that people are starting to review fiction movies like Minority Report as historical moving documents. I kid you not. Your historical documents. We have looked at them all. Movies are not historical documents. Not even the new movie Dunkirk. It's a bunch of fiction. Call Rod now. 606-603-835-3226.
The Red Cross responds to nearly 66,000 disasters every year, most of them house fires. Red Cross President and CEO Gail McGovern says you need to develop an evacuation plan and practice it, especially with your children. It takes just 2 minutes for a home to be engulfed in flames.
Practice those drills. We all think our kids know what to do. They don't. We need to teach them. We have started a large campaign where we're going into vulnerable communities and helping install smoke alarms. Already 92 lives were saved, and 4 of those lives were saved by a 5-year-old girl who remembered what we taught them during these fire drills, and she got her family out. We also have a slew of free apps that people can download onto their smartphones. It's what to do in every kind of disaster you can imagine, how to prepare and how to recover.
To help support all the Red Cross does and to make a financial donation, go to redcross.org. That's redcross.org.
I'm just so happy my father had a chance to see his kids before he passed. I just want to say thank you.
When her father fell ill, the American Red Cross was able to help get Veronica's brother home from the Navy to speak to his father one last time. It's thanks to your donations that we can connect military families when they need it most. Please donate today at redcross.org.
It's Thursday night, and you're grabbing drinks with some friends. Started off with a pitcher for the table, which quickly becomes 2. There's pool. And there's the photo booth.
All right, everybody squeeze in. Say cheese!
Followed naturally by an order of wings. And another.
Can we get some extra ranch sauce?
Then there's the ceremonial nightcap.
So what are we doing this weekend?
And lastly, it's back to the car, which, if you're buzzed, could be the most expensive night of your life. Getting pulled over for buzzed driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzzed driving, because buzzed driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Every day, the men and women of the United States Marine Corps demonstrate their commitment to defend the American way of life. Since 1775, we have served our nation as a force in readiness.
Get some rear security.
From combat operations to humanitarian assistance in every corner of the world. No matter where the mission takes us today, or wherever our country needs us tomorrow, we always remember the land we call home. As Marines, we take a stand for each other, for our nation, for us all. The few, the proud, the Marines.
I considered suicide so I wouldn't put my family through all the pain.
Many of our warriors are returning home from the battlefield, only to face a new war as they struggle with devastating injuries. At Wounded Warrior Project, we understand. We're there to help.
Even though you think you're broken, you're not. It's the physical and the emotional healing that Wounded Warrior Project provides.
With a gift of just $19 a month, you can join Wounded Warrior Project. You'll help provide critically needed programs and services that rebuild lives.
Beautiful. There you go, buddy.
The ongoing needs of our wounded and their families will continue for many years to come. Now is the time to show your support. Call now or go online with your gift of just $19 a month, and we'll send you this Wounded Warrior Project blanket.
It made me feel that there's people out there that care about us.
After this event, we can finally maybe start to heal as a family and move forward.
We need your help. The families are hurting.
For many of our wounded heroes, the greatest casualty is being forgotten. That's why your gift of just $19 a month is so important. Please, call or go online right now.
This music reminds me of Shaft. You know the one thing about Shaft? I like Shaft. I even like the Samuel L. Jackson version of Shaft. I have a long coat. Now, a long leather coat. Now, it's actually a replica of the Morpheus coat, and I got it, my ex-wife got it for me for Christmas one year. She got it on sale. It was like $300 back then. It was originally like $500, and this was, 20 years ago now? And I still like it. I still wear it every once in a while. Whenever I wear it, man, people they sort of move out of my way. It kind of makes you feel like a badass. So maybe I should wear it more often with sunglasses and a hat. Not a baseball hat, but a good old what do they call those hats that the old detectives used to wear? Fedoras. Yes, that should wear one of those. I like the jacket still. I don't care. Well, it's not in style. You know what? If I like it, it's in style. I still have a jean jacket. And you see anybody wear jean jackets nowadays? I'll wear one. I don't care what this. If it still fits, if it's still in good condition, and I like it, I'll wear it. So you could say I have my own fashion style. And I still have a fedora. I've got one. I used to wear it all the time, and I still got one. Wear it with his sunglasses and a Morpheus. Well, Morpheus didn't wear a hat in the movie Matrix, did he? No. Speaking of Matrix, some people think that we might be in a Matrix. Compared to what's been going on lately, and people are thinking, well, geez, haven't we seen this before? Well, yeah, maybe, just with different technology, but yeah, we've seen it all before. And I think we're going to be getting a little bit more into stuff like that as Agent 0010 continues his report this morning. I like my jacket. I think I still look pretty damn badass. Not as young and strong as I used to be in it, but I can still stand up just as tall and just as straight in that thing and intimidate the hell out of people. Sometimes you just want to intimidate people, do you not? I'm not saying I do it all the time, because I don't. But just sometimes you're just in a mood that you don't want to deal with people, so you just want to intimidate the hell out of them to leave you alone. And that coat works. Believe me, if I want to get in and get out of someplace really fast without being bothered or stopped by anybody, I wear that jacket. It works every single time. People hold the door for me. They allow me to cut in front of them in line. I get in and out of the way without being hassled. It's a beautiful thing.
You're a bully. You're just a bully. You're just a bully. Typical Trump supporter. You're a bully. All right, next thing I'm going to report on is, do you remember how just a couple of days ago the president decided that he's going to put an end to certain program that was going on in Syria, basically helping out these quote-unquote rebels?
Yeah, arming the rebels. That I think, who was it? John McCain was a big supporter of that.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he flipped out once he heard that the president was going to do that. Here's why. John McCain went to Syria and met with members of al-Nusra. And he made this this deal with them that he was going to, weaponize them, give them some training and so on and so forth, because they're rebels that were going up against the Syrian government, especially the President Bashir. Well, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to translate al-Nusra to you. Al-Nusra is also called Al-Qaeda in Syria. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, the Obama administration and the United States government, with the assistance of John McCain, was arming Al-Qaeda. The same people that brought down the Twin Towers. The same organization that assisted the Taliban in fighting our American forces in Afghanistan. So
is that maybe why you have some conspiracy theorists saying that the Towers thing was an inside job, because we were always supporting Al-Qaeda in some form or fashion?
Oh, no, because this support didn't come until after the Twin Towers had come down and after the birth of ISIS or ISIL, depending on your choice. So because of this, the Obama administration, I reported a while ago that I was one of the 3 individuals that had discovered the existence of ISIS in the city of Mosul in Iraq. And we were asked, can we, in your honest opinion, from the intelligence that you've gathered, do you think that we can bring these guys to our side? And we kept telling them, no, 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 no. Well, then I got put behind a computer permanently because I disagreed with the administration, as they did with the forces in the CENTCOM intelligence analysts in Qatar. Those people were also punished for disagreeing with the administration. Well, I wasn't a contractor. I actually worked for the agency. I worked directly under the supervision, direction, and answered to the agency. I was punished for disagreeing with the president's theory. Then they turned around and said, okay, we're going to do it anyway. Well, that's what they did with Al-Qaeda, because the whole ISIS thing blew up in the president's face. So he figured, you know what? This is what we're going to do. We're going to support Al-Qaeda because they're taking on Bashir. Well, they had this theory of the enemy of my enemy is my friend. No, dumbass. In this case, the enemy of your enemy is also your enemy, because he's the one that is involved in killing American soldiers in Afghanistan. Now, here's the example because some people are trying to say that Al-Qaeda in Syria is different from the Al-Qaeda in Afghanistan. Really? Seriously? That's like saying the Republican in Florida is different than the Republican in New York City. No, they're both part of the same party. They both basically have the same ideology. They both still say they have the same common thread together that holds them together. So to say that Al-Qaeda in Syria is different than the Al-Qaeda in Afghanistan is the most moronic, idiotic, feeble-minded thing that anybody can spew. And John McCain was the one that went to Syria, met with the al-Nusra leadership, organized this thing for the CIA. Because here's how it works, ladies and gentlemen. The CIA turns around and says, okay, guess what? We have this idea, but we need somebody in politics to legitimize it. So the CIA director then goes to the POTUS. Then the POTUS starts looking down the list and says, wait a minute, John McCain. That's a good name. Speak to McCain about it. McCain says, well, you know what? That sounds like a great idea. I'm going to do it. And he goes to Syria like an idiot and assists the president because he feels that he's helping make this huge change that's happening in Syria. No, that's not the case. All he's doing is making things so much worse. And fast forward, he did. So McCain feels that this is his baby. McCain feels that, hey, I did something good. Problem is, he's not seeing the forest because of the trees. So the only thing he's focused on is bringing down Bashir, bring down Bashir, but he's not looking at the Holocaust, that terror that's going on in Syria. Because we're supporting al-Nusra financially and with weapons.
Because
And
Bashir's
that's
the
why
bad
he's
guy.
upset.
Bashir's the bad guy.
Oh,
If
yeah.
you don't understand that Bashir's the bad guy, then you're a bad guy too. I'm telling you, Bashir's gotta go. It doesn't matter who fills the void. He's gotta go.
But you know what? Honestly, what really makes me what really makes me laugh is that 2013 was one hell of a year for the Obama administration. They were really busy because, notice, his second time around as being president. He had already gone through the election. He was picked to be president yet again. He was elected for his second term in office. Not long after that, everything went crazy. Hell, he even had the NSA eavesdrop on American companies, businesses, not the American citizen, actual corporations that had Verizon accounts. He had that done. And I've got the proof. And guess what, Rod? So do you. I sent it to you.
Yes, indeed.
And
we got that. We got those documents, those documentations.
Well, there's the facts. And none of it is made up. It's all supported. It's all verified. John McCain helped create or helped intensify the situation that's going on in Syria by arming and supporting Al-Qaeda in Syria. But things are going to get worse. I promise you. And we spoke about this yesterday, Rod. There's a very, very, very dangerous possibility that things are about to get worse in the Middle East. And I'm going to lead into that right now.
Because there are different factions in the Middle East, and they're teaming up and coalescing together. You have the Iranian side and you have the Saudi Arabian side, and those two sides don't like each other very much, and things are about to boil over and come to a head. Explain how that is happening, and why certain things in the Saudi government have taken place. And most people know what happened recently with the former Saudi prince.
All right, I'm going to do a quick recap about the Saudi prince. Now, here's the recap. The Saudi prince was dethroned. He was the nephew of the king of Saudi Arabia. So he turns around, and the king of Saudi Arabia says, okay, guess what? You're no longer the crown prince. You're no longer going to be involved in this. You're out. And everybody was like, oh, he must have really got his uncle mad. And, well, he did. He did. Well, the crown prince, come to find out, the reason why he was dethroned is because he was in support of Qatar. And I'll explain that after I explain to you that the same crown prince that was dethroned has also been arrested and is awaiting a trial. Not for supporting Qatar, but in good old-fashioned Middle Eastern way, they wait for you to mess up. If you actually make somebody angry, they wait for an opportunity to pounce on you. And this crown prince did that by verbally attacking and physically attacking Saudi citizens. And when his uncle found out, he said, that's it. And he had him arrested. And he's incarcerated and he's awaiting trial. Now, why was the Saudi prince supporting Qatar? Well, as you know, I explained to you that the legitimate Yemenis government, the government in Yemen, had been overthrown by rebels. And these rebels had Al-Qaeda support as well as support from Iran, correct?
Yes.
Well, guess what? The Saudi prince that is now arrested supported the rebels and supported what was going on in Yemen. Here's the kicker. Qatar also supported what's going on with the Iranians and Al-Qaeda in Yemen. The Saudi prince agrees with Qatar. His uncle turns around and says, oh, really? You're no longer the crown prince. My son is now the crown prince. So the Yemenis government, overthrown by al-Qaeda with the support of Iran, and then Qatar jumps on board and supports Iran, al-Qaeda, and what's going on in Yemen. Now, what kind of concerns me is that Central Command, their forward headquarters, is located in Qatar, the same government that is supporting the overthrow of the Yemenis government by al-Qaeda and Iran. That is something to worry about. Now, the Yemenis government, the Qatar government has been confronted by several governments. They've been a coalition has been talking to Qatar, and that coalition includes Saudi Arabia. It also includes Egypt, the UAE, the United Arab Emirates, Bahrain. So Saudi Arabia, Egypt, Bahrain, and the UAE have been trying to force Qatar to cease their support of Iran and the illegitimate Yemenis government. Qatar says, kiss my butt. Kiss my butt. So right now, as it stands, you have Yemen, Qatar, and Iran going up against Saudi Arabia, Egypt, Bahrain, and the UAE. Ladies and gentlemen, we have the making of a brand new war in the Middle East. We have the makings of a brand new bloodbath. And this is going to drag the entire region, to include North Africa, into this hell. Now, if you look at a map, North Africa is also dangerously close to Europe. Now, who could this drag in? Everybody except Israel. This could drag everybody except Israel into a new war in the Middle East, and this could lead to World War III. Sounds a little bit melodramatic. I agree with you. It does sound a little melodramatic. But the possibilities are very much there.
Yeah, it sounds like the book of Revelation. One of the things that I learned from that ridiculous program on YouTube is there's another faction other than Russia who's highly involved in the Middle East now, and nobody even really takes them seriously, and has a large investment financially and now militarily, is China. And all the pieces are now there. All the pieces are now there for the Book of Revelations, Armageddon war in the Middle East. And it is frightening because we have people in this country, politicians that are so stupid. They don't seem to remember history at all. And they seem to forget that there are people that are, well, we have friends, we have enemies, and we have the ubiquitous frenemy. And we have to remember that a frenemy really isn't your friend. They really are your enemy, but they'll just work with you because they find it advantageous at the moment. But as soon as that advantageous type of situation is over for them, they'll revert back to being your enemy. They will never be your friend. I haven't seen a frenemy ever turn into a friend on a national level, ever.
Let's put it like this. In order for me to show that, if you sat there and you told me you're blowing things out of proportion, I would probably say you're right. But I'm not going by the Bible. I'm going by the facts that are laid before me. And let's not forget one very important thing. Shots are still being fired during this situation because the Saudi Arabian government is bombing the hell out of Yemen. And in the process, killing innocent men, women, and children that have nothing to do with this.
Yes.
So shots are being fired, bombs are being dropped, period. The firing is going on while these talks are going on, and so far, Cutter is the one that's standing there saying, no, we're going to do whatever the hell we want and support whoever the hell we want, contrary to what you say or what you believe. So already a crown prince that supported Yemen has been dethroned. He has been taken out of power. So the power plays are already starting to happen. The bombing and the shooting has been happening. It hasn't started. It's been going on. So therefore, ladies and gentlemen, it's not going to take much more to escalate this whole thing. It's not. It's not like they're talking without the shooting. They're talking and shooting.
World is on fire. Well, very intriguing and informative report, Agent, as usual. I do thank you for all of your investigatory. You know, you should be a journalist yourself, because the way you investigate stuff. I mean, seriously.
Well, you know what? I just want to say one last thing. I blame President Barack Obama. He is the patriarch for the genocide of the Yazidi people. He is the one that has allowed the murder, rape, and genocide of an entire race of people that is currently going on. His actions have allowed innocent girls, children to be raped, men to be slaughtered.
Yeah.
He's the one that allowed this to happen. What is happening to the Yazidi people is because of Obama.
No doubt about that. No doubt. Well, got to run, my friend. Thank you so much. Stay safe out there, will you?
I will. You guys have a great one.
We'll be back.
I'm not Rod Eccles, and I approve this message.
A couple of weeks ago, a long-haired young person came into our bank and said, "I'll bet you're a Nazi." Well, I love America, support the Constitution, and believe in capitalism. So I told him I'm not a Nazi, and I'm not. So what happens? The punk breaks out 2 windows and pepper sprays an elderly woman in the face. You know, there's one thing about long-haired young people nowadays. They're real assholes. Long-haired young people, you suck.
Give a man a fish and you feed him for a day. Sign him up for the Box of Bait Club and he'll never be hungry again. The Box of Bait Club is a brand new dream come true for every fisherman. Something new and different in your tackle box every month. Every month, another excuse to get outside and do what you love. Don't let this one get away. The Box of Bait Club is currently accepting a limited number of pre-orders with subscriptions starting at $39.95 per month. Find out more now. Log on to boxofbaitclub.com.
We've all heard of male enhancement, but now there's an expert on true male enhancement in the areas that really count. In Herb Ellis's book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, you'll find answers to questions like, why doesn't she want to have sex? A quick start, quick results workout guide, plus what you can do as a side hustle to make money now. With all the great tips in this book, every man can benefit. Get the book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, on Amazon.com.
It started with a knock, but it wouldn't end there. What happens in the story next, many wouldn't understand, and most wouldn't believe. 5 + 2 = Perfection by Samuel Rosette Jr. is a must-read. The scriptures within are reminders of the ancient past, and yet intriguingly infuses with texts which stand on the edge of the stage of relevancy. Available online at Westbow Press, Amazon, Books A Million, Barnes & Noble, and SamuelRosetteJr.com.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 $14 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
Today, there's a beer for everyone.
Hey, me and the guys are going out for beer. You want to come along?
Nah, I got a lot of data to enter into the computer tonight.
Now, there's a brew for the future.
Want me to bring you something back?
Thanks, but I got some right here.
Microsoft Brew.
You got a beer tap on your computer?
With a head so thick you can float a mouse on it.
Let me get this straight. You make your own beer with the computer?
With the right software, you can do anything.
Microsoft Brew.
Here, I call this one Windows 95.
I don't know. It leaves a bad taste in my mouth.
And if you got to get there quicker, try the new ISDN malt liquor.
When I found out I had atrial fibrillation, a serious but highly treatable heart condition, the first thing I thought of was who would take care of my wife and children if anything were to happen to me? My doctor recommended Prevactin. I had a lot of questions, so I did some research. It turns out Prevactin is the #1 recommended drug for Crohn's disease. I think my doctor's trying to kill me and steal my wife.
Doctors. They'll stop at nothing to get your wife.
The Red Cross responds to nearly 66,000 disasters every year, most of them house fires. Red Cross President and CEO Gail McGovern says you need to develop an evacuation plan and practice it, especially with your children. It takes just 2 minutes for a home to be engulfed in flames.
Practice those drills. We all think our kids know what to do. They don't. We need to teach them. We have started a large campaign where we're going into vulnerable communities and helping install smoke alarms. Already 92 lives were saved, and 4 of those lives were saved by a 5-year-old girl who remembered what we taught them during these fire drills, and she got her family out. We also have a slew of free apps that people can download onto their smartphones. It's what to do in every kind of disaster you can imagine, how to prepare and how to recover.
To help support all the Red Cross does and to make a financial donation, go to redcross.org. That's redcross.org.
See that cute little dog in the pet store window? Chances are it came from a puppy mill. A breeding facility that forces caged, neglected, and often sick dogs to churn out puppy after puppy to be sold for profit. Meanwhile, millions of wonderful, healthy pets end up in animal shelters. This leads to the killing of more than 9,000 by the end of today. But with one simple choice, you can help. Just by deciding to adopt instead of purchase your next pet. Animal shelters are full of amazing pets looking for a home. When you adopt your new best friend, not only are you saving a life, you're taking a stand against puppy mills. When your friends see the smart choice and impact you've made, they adopt their next pet and share with 5 of their friends, who share with 5 more. Before long, thousands get involved. Pet stores stop selling dogs from puppy mills, and even more lives are saved. And with your help, we can save them all. Visit bestfriends.org/puppymills to learn more.
Every day, the men and women of the United States Marine Corps demonstrate their commitment to defend the American way of life. Since 1775, we have served our nation as a force in readiness.
Get some rear security.
From combat operations to humanitarian assistance in every corner of the world. No matter where the mission takes us today, or wherever our country needs us tomorrow, we always remember the land we call home. As Marines, we take a stand for each other, for our nation, for us all. The few, the proud, the Marines.
The human voice. It can be sweet as music, powerful as thunder,
And so, my fellow Americans,
cheerful as laughter. But for millions of people, it can also be a sign of COPD. This serious lung disease can make it so hard to breathe, you often can't catch a breath or finish a sentence, let alone carry a tune. And many who have COPD don't even know it. That's where your voice comes in. If you think you or a loved one have symptoms, talk with a healthcare provider. Early diagnosis can mean better treatments and quality of life. Join us in raising our voices for the millions with COPD who can't. Learn more, breathe better at NIH.gov.
As a mother, you don't want to have to worry about this bill is coming, but then she needs this chemo. That's a decision you shouldn't have to make.
It's a huge burden lifted financially, and so it allows you to give singular focus to your child. I've never known a hospital that takes care of their patients so thoroughly.
That was the first thing I was like, how are we going to do this? When they told us that we didn't have to pay a single bill, I was like, wow. They pretty much have saved us.
It's like the world has been lifted off of your shoulders, and now your focus is supporting this child.
There is not another hospital like St. Jude. The patient care is unmatchable. It saved my life. It saved my daughter's life. It saved our family.
St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Finding cures, saving children. Learn more at stjude.org.
On the battlefield, there's a saying America's military men and women live by. Never leave a fallen warrior behind. Ever. Off the battlefield, Wounded Warrior Project operates with the same goal. We leave no warrior behind. Wounded Warrior Project is a non-profit organization created to help our men and women returning home with the scars of war. Whether those scars are physical or mental, we're here to make sure that they heal. And whether it's helping those with post-traumatic stress disorder live a normal life again, or giving much-needed support to injured warriors in veterans' hospitals. Because no one deserves our help more than the men and women who risk their lives to keep us safe. Wounded Warrior Project. We never leave a fallen warrior behind. Ever. Learn more about what we do at woundedwarriorproject.org.
Zinc Media. Feel the power of knowledge.
Studio located somewhere within the great granite state of New Hampshire is Rod Eccles.
And welcome to hour number 3 here on the Rod Eccles Show. Yes, indeed, the fastest 3 hours in Internet Talk Radio is right here on the Rod Eccles Show. 603-835-3226 is the call-in number. Should you wish to join me here live on the program this morning. And, of course, it's the number that you utilize at any time, any day of the week, live here, Monday through Friday. Again, I have to, well, I know I don't have to tell most of you this, but there are some liberals out there that don't seem to understand time. See, 9 a.m. to noon Eastern time. So you can't get upset at me for not taking a live phone call at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. You don't want to talk, man. You say you want to talk. You don't want to talk. I look at the phone records, dude. You called it like 3:30. The show ended at noon. Are you trying to call Sean Hannity instead? I mean, I'm flattered that you got our phone numbers mixed up, but please, Well, am I going to just pick up the phone in the middle of my work day and just have a discussion with you? Well, yeah, it wouldn't even be. It would be a one-sided discussion because you can't have an. Who was it that said you can't have an argument with a brick wall? Well, you can't. Well, that's a liberal. You can't. You can't argue with a brick wall because the brick wall will win every time, and they win by driving you insane. Because it doesn't respond to logic or truth at all or historical data, whatever you want to call it. I got some historical data here, by the way. I mentioned early in the first hour about sea levels actually falling, not rising. Here it is, Gateway Pundit, and on another site, something Ice Age Now. Never heard of it. They're all sourcing the NASA, the NASA study, U.S. NASA. The study confirms sea levels are falling. And why are they falling? Because they say the poles are getting more ice. So it means the ice isn't melting. Haven't we always been told, the polar caps are melting, man. The ice is falling into the sea. Oh, my God, it's water again. We're going to be water world. Well, Al Gore, you idiot. Funny how science can always prove you to be a total jackass. Because NASA says there's global warming. Like, are you kidding me? NASA does not say it, that there's global warming. All their data says otherwise. And here's more of it. NASA study confirms sea levels are actually falling. When we look back in this period of history, we'll say climate change is one of the greatest hoaxes a politician turned environmental activist Al Gore has ever perpetrated on mankind. And he's become wealthy beyond his wildest dreams, and thanks to pushing the big inconvenient, or I should say the big convenient lie. It's just unbelievable. We get information, facts after fact. The sun is going into a new sleeping period. Then you know what? I'm tired of repeating myself. I am speaking to the choir on this in a bunch of brick walls. Otherwise, no, Rod. There's man-made climate change. There is no such thing as man-made global climate change. For the last time, people, the climate has been both warmer and colder than it is today, and mankind had nothing to do with the changes. So why is it all of a sudden in the last 150 years we have everything to do? No, BS. The ocean levels are rising. I even hear it to this day. The ocean levels have risen so damn much that Miami, New York, and the coastal areas of Africa, Europe, South America, and Asia, and all the wonderful South Pacific islands, as much as the oceans have risen according to them, they should all be underwater. But none of them are. Hello? Right in front of your eyes. They're all supposed to be submerged, and none of them are. So even so far as the Paris Climate Agreement, which even the Paris Climate Agreement experts have said, well, this is not going to do anything to change man-made global climate change. So then why the hell are we having an agreement then? Seriously? Come on, folks. I mean, really, I'm about to blow a gasket here. But before I do that, let's bring on a call. 731, you're live on the Rod Eccles Show. What you got this morning, darling?
Hey, I was going to say you can have them to Google Maps and look at Greenland, and that will tell you a lot about the ice caps and that for people that, can get that. Now, of course, Rob, our friend, wouldn't get it, but that's okay.
No.
That's kind of an inside joke, but I know exactly who,
Yes.
Is, so.
But you know what? That is an excellent point. We now have Google Maps. I mean, Google Earth or whatever they want to call it. You can You can just go online and take pictures. You can see, because they take pictures and change it, update it every once in a while. I don't know how often they do it, but you can follow along.
A field shot. I put a shot on my computer for every liberal that ever talks to me about global warming. I let them look at that.
The ice caps are melting. They're almost gone. Really? Well, here's a recent picture of this. Here's a recent picture of the South Pole. You want to see all that stuff that's white? You want to tell me why that's still there if the ice caps have disappeared? And we hear this all the North Pole is melting, and we're going to have ice out in the Arctic, and they act like it's never happened before. Well, of course it's.
You know what? They're so stupid. They're just so stupid. You can't tell them anything. Just like you said, you can talk to you blue in the face, but a photo sometimes the brain has a way of attaching to that, and it's more difficult to deny.
Well, they'll try to make some excuse for it, and they'll say, "Well, it's only a temporary reprieve." That is a nonsense. When we were in the middle of global warming, when they were the global warming hysteria, and we had what year was it? We had a couple of very large volcanic eruptions. And we had this reprieve. They said, I think it was during this. It was the Mount St. Helens year.
I think you're right.
And they were saying we had, because the volcanoes that erupted that year, including Mount St. Helens, put up all that ash and soot, which blocked out the sun.
That's right.
Hello. Wait. So you're telling me that man is the cause of the warming, but the volcano's ash blocked out the rays of the sun, which gave us a reprieve and a temporary cooling off period. Doesn't that tell you that maybe the sun is a much bigger influence on our weather and climate than man is? I mean, they told us
Absolutely.
Right then and there.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you can lead them to water, but you can't make them drink. I was listening to Agent, and he was really, that man, he knows what's going on, and I'm, I'm in awe every time I listen to him. But I had a couple questions I wanted to relay, because I know that, the Logan Act, is it not a violation of the Logan Act that Brennan and Clapper are the previous administration's people going out and doing, actually trying to call for a coup against the sitting president in Aspen? I don't know if you saw that, but it was just almost unbelievable that these two guys would have the audacity to do that. And I would like for Agent maybe sometime, if he has time to. My understanding is the Logan Act has never been invoked, but this surely might be the time it should be. What do you think about that?
Well, a lot of people probably don't know what that is, but just to give a brief synopsis of what this was enacted shortly after we became a nation and shortly after the Constitution was adopted. And it basically states that unauthorized citizens, private citizens or public citizens, doesn't matter, unauthorized citizens basically cannot negotiate with foreign governments that have a dispute with the USA, which really means that, well, let me give an example. When Carter and Dennis Rodman go to North Korea and do whatever they do without the permission of the federal government, they're violating the Logan Act. And I don't recall a time when this has actually been invoked. It doesn't mean that it can't be, and it should be, because our Constitution and our government and regulations specifies who are the agents of the USA who can negotiate with foreign governments, and it's not a senator, sitting or otherwise. It's not a former basketball player, and it's not a former president, unless they are given specific. permission by the president to do so, to act as an emissary. Now, if you're called by the president to be an emissary, then that's a different story. You're not in violation of the Logan Act. But if you go on your own dime and time, that's a violation. Now, I do not know what I know that the law stipulates that there's a specific amount of imprisonment time and possible fines, and I don't know what the time is. But actually, you know what? Let's do a quick.
I called myself looking it up, and it says a minimum of 10 years.
Okay.
Incarceration, and I don't know how current that was, but look at Obama following our president around Germany and where else, and then you've got these two clowns over here trying to call for a coup, and we're in a very slippery slope, put it that way. And when Agent was talking about Iran and Qatar, well, I have two things to say. One of our ships yesterday, I saw this, that had shot at an Iranian ship. I found that interesting. I didn't read all the details. And then Qatar, on the other hand, and you can look this up, but I believe that was where Hillary Rodham Clinton sent a lot of her money from her Clinton Foundation to Qatar. You look that up, and I know Agent will, but they're trying to. It seems as though they're willing to start World War III to prevent their exposure. That's what it seems to me. And in Hawaii yesterday afternoon gave a warning to their citizens to be prepared for a nuclear attack. I mean, had the pictures and what to do to go in your home and stay for a week and so forth. And usually, the only thing the media does is they'll give you a little bit of the picture. And if you learn their tricks, you'll know what to look out for. And that's what's kind of scary. Wisconsin decided they would put microchips in their employees so they can get snacks. This all happened in the last day or so. And Delta Airlines are going to start a program with their High Miles Delta program. You can use your fingerprint so you can pick up your bags faster and get through the line. I'm telling you, nobody's going to put a damn chip in me come hell or high water. But that's what's going on.
Yeah. I mentioned that yesterday about the company. 50 of the 80 employees have already volunteered to do this.
I mean, do they not? They don't know the Bible, obviously. That is just that to me.
Well, I don't. You can't convince me that these people are voluntary. It's a forced volunteerism, kind of like the IRS volunteer thing. The IRS says it's voluntary to file your taxes, but if you volunteer not to file your taxes, well, the IRS will come after you and throw you in jail. So this whole thing is voluntary. I firmly believe that go ahead and willingly get this or look for a new job. It's probably what these people have been told.
That's probably what they've been told, but if they know anything about the Bible, because, I mean, you know what? My mother used to say, rest her soul, used to say that I don't believe in computers. I believe it's 666. I used to be like, whatever, give me my computer. But there is some truth to this stuff, and these people are looking for the elites to, surpass the little minions they call us, I'm sure. And Donald Trump, I'll tell you what, if I were him and I were a billionaire, I'd throw my hands up on public TV and say, you guys take this, you have it, you ask for it, here, I've tried, I've done my best. They've ridiculed him, they're trying to ruin his family, his name, and all he's trying to do is get this country where our founding fathers expected our politicians to operate. But oh no, that's not good enough. They're so greedy. And I'm here to tell you, it's going to take probably 7 million people marching down to D.C. to straighten this up. That's where, because people aren't going to lay down and take it. I just don't believe they are. And we pay taxes. The government, we are the government in a sense, because without us, what do they have? Nothing. They'd be turning on each other like the plague.
Yeah.
But I'm on a roll, and I'm sorry. But
that's okay.
Really,
I gotta run though.
Okay, and listen, and I'm glad you're feeling better. Okay.
Oh, thank you very much. Talk to you soon.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Don't go anywhere. We're not done yet, folks. Got more to come.
Yes, love hurts. It can hurt emotionally, but more important, it can also hurt you physically. It can hurt you in a way which nobody who owns a hot tub and lives in California can afford to be unaware of. Yes, I'm talking about California hot tub rectal gonorrhea. This painful, incurable disease can make an enjoyable soak in a hot tub with family, friends, and dog into a literally unforgettable experience. If you catch California hot tub rectal gonorrhea, not only will you walk around feeling like you're about to pass a twisted sardine can lid, you'll also smell like a pile of burning tractor tires. So don't jump out of the frying pan and into the hot tub, because if you get California hot tub rectal gonorrhea, it'll really burn your ass.
This has been a public service message brought to you by the Citizens Against CHTRG Foundation. California hot tub rectal gonorrhea. We're not going to take it sitting down.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
It started with a knock, but it wouldn't end there. What happens in the story next, many wouldn't understand, and most wouldn't believe. 5 + 2 = Perfection by Samuel Rosette Jr. is a must-read. The scriptures within are reminders of the ancient past, and yet intriguingly infuses with texts which stand on the edge of the stage of relevancy. Available online at Westbow Press, Amazon, Books A Million, Barnes & Noble, and SamuelRosetteJr.com.
We've all heard of male enhancement, but now there's an expert on true male enhancement in the areas that really count. In Herb Ellis's book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, you'll find answers to questions like, why doesn't she want to have sex? A quick start, quick results workout guide, plus what you can do as a side hustle to make money now. With all the great tips in this book, every man can benefit. Get the book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, on Amazon.com.
So here it is. I have in my, well, not in my I guess electronic current nicotine stained fingers, information on the Logan Act. The Logan Act was instituted or enacted in January 1799 as a United States federal law that details the fine and or imprisonment of unauthorized citizens who negotiate with foreign governments having a dispute with the United States. It was intended to prevent the undermining of the government's position. The act was passed following George Logan's unauthorized negotiations with France in 1798 and was signed into law by President John Adams on January 30 of 1799. The act was last amended in 1994, and a violation of the Logan Act is a felony. To date, only 2 people have ever been indicted for violating the Act's provisions. However, no person has ever been prosecuted for alleged violations of the Act. That's too bad, because we obviously have some people out there that should be indicted and convicted and imprisoned for doing such things. And George Logan, by the way, was in the Senate at the time that he did this. So again, that's because our Constitution says that the president is the one who's supposed to do the negotiating, not a senator. Well, I guess John McCain didn't know that act.
The Red Cross responds to nearly 66,000 disasters every year, most of them house fires. Red Cross President and CEO Gail McGovern says you need to develop an evacuation plan and practice it, especially with your children. It takes just 2 minutes for a home to be engulfed in flames.
Practice those drills. We all think our kids know what to do. They don't. We need to teach them. We have started a large campaign where we're going into vulnerable communities and helping install smoke alarms. Already 92 lives were saved, and 4 of those lives were saved by a 5-year-old girl who remembered what we taught them during these fire drills, and she got her family out. We also have a slew of free apps that people can download onto their smartphones. It's what to do in every kind of disaster you can imagine, how to prepare and how to recover.
To help support all the Red Cross does and to make a financial donation, go to redcross.org. That's redcross.org.
I'm just so happy my father had a chance to see his kids before he passed. I just want to say thank you.
When her father fell ill, the American Red Cross was able to help get Veronica's brother home from the Navy to speak to his father one last time. It's thanks to your donations that we can connect military families when they need it most. Please donate today at redcross.org.
It's Thursday night, and you're grabbing drinks with some friends. Started off with a pitcher for the table, which quickly becomes 2. There's pool. And there's the photo booth.
All right, everybody squeeze in. Say cheese!
Followed naturally by an order of wings. And another.
Can we get some extra ranch sauce?
Then there's the ceremonial nightcap.
So what are we doing this weekend?
And lastly, it's back to the car, which, if you're buzzed, could be the most expensive night of your life. Getting pulled over for buzzed driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzzed driving, because buzzed driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Every day, the men and women of the United States Marine Corps demonstrate their commitment to defend the American way of life. Since 1775, we have served our nation as a force in readiness.
Get some rear security.
From combat operations to humanitarian assistance in every corner of the world. No matter where the mission takes us today, or wherever our country needs us tomorrow, we always remember the land we call home. As Marines, we take a stand for each other, for our nation, for us all. The few, the proud, the Marines.
I considered suicide so I wouldn't put my family through all the pain.
Many of our warriors are returning home from the battlefield, only to face a new war as they struggle with devastating injuries. At Wounded Warrior Project, we understand. We're there to help.
Even though you think you're broken, you're not. It's the physical and the emotional healing that Wounded Warrior Project provides.
With a gift of just $19 a month, you can join Wounded Warrior Project. You'll help provide critically needed programs and services that rebuild lives.
Beautiful. There you go, buddy.
The ongoing needs of our wounded and their families will continue for many years to come. Now is the time to show your support. Call now or go online with your gift of just $19 a month, and we'll send you this Wounded Warrior Project blanket.
It made me feel that there's people out there that care about us.
After this event, we can finally maybe start to heal as a family and move forward.
We need your help. The families are hurting.
For many of our wounded heroes, the greatest casualty is being forgotten. That's why your gift of just $19 a month is so important. Please, call or go online right now.
This is Free America broadcasting on the Rod Eccles Show with a message to all patriots trapped behind the lines in California, New York, Boston, and Chicago. Don't give up, true lovers of America. Even as we speak, moves are being made to drive the invaders back to the land from which they came. Defeat the would-be dictators and lift the chains of tyranny from around your neck. Stay strong. Stay brave. You're not forgotten, and you're not alone. Until next time, patriots, this is Free America signing out.
Bring the rain.
603-835-3226. Almost makes you want to drop a line. What do they say in rap music? Is it dropping a line, dropping a note? I don't know. But I'm not. I may be cool, but I'm not hip. There is a difference. You know, anybody remember Happy Days and the Fonz? The Fonz was cool. Arthur Fonzarelli, the Fonz, was cool. He wasn't hip. P. Diddy and Jay-Z, they're hip. They're not cool. They like to think that they're cool. They're not cool. They're hip. By the way, does anybody see the recent picture of Jay-Z on the beach? He had a manservant with him. Yeah, this manservant was holding an umbrella to keep the sun off of Jay-Z. Now, I'm not gonna go there, but oh hell, why not? Why the hell is Jay-Z hiring somebody to hold an umbrella over him? The man is nearly black as coal. The sun ain't gonna hurt him at all. Sorry, it's not. He ain't gonna get no sunburn, and he ain't. Well, it's because him and his wife combined are worth almost $1 billion. I think they're worth over $1 billion because Jay-Z himself is worth like $800 million. So they have a ridiculous amount of money, especially from what his Jay-Z is Sean Carter, right? So especially from his Sean Carter fashion line. No, you know the fashion lines that charge kids $100 for a hoodie that cost them $10 to make. You know that kind of cash. Just saying. Let's get back to the phones. We have Dom on the line who's been patiently waiting. Good morning, Dom. What you got?
Hey, how's it going, Rod? Now, you really didn't think you were going to bash Rob without me jumping in on it, did you?
Well, I wasn't saying I was. Well, okay.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I think he's suffering from California hot tub rectal gonorrhea, and it really burns his ass. That guy's an idiot, you know. Another thing, too, I really wanted to touch on this. You know, when the inside man, when 0010 was talking about Qatar and Saudi Arabia, I haven't heard a word about this on mainstream media, and it's hard. It's easy when you say, well, they're not going to cover speculation. He says there's active bomb raids going on. I haven't heard a word about this. In fact, I never really even knew Saudi Arabia had an offensive capability military. I just thought they were one of those militaries that you see in movies that just are only there to oppress people, like in the Hunger Games.
Well, we did see some news about when Saudi Arabia first started bombing Yemen, and they were doing some massive stuff. But they made it sound like that they were cutting back, and evidently they haven't really cut back. They've just been They've just tried to be a little bit more strategic about their bombing raids. And the only thing they haven't done so far, I actually heard that they were actually putting troops on the ground in Yemen. That the
really?
Saudis. Now I don't know if they actually crossed the border. I know that they were amassing them on the borders of the various bordering nations, but I don't know if they've actually crossed, because there's like a news blackout. You're right. We don't hear much coming from that part of the region at the moment, and we don't hear the reasons behind it. The only thing we hear about is Syria, and the only reason why we hear about Syria really is because of the stupid so-called Syrian refugees, which really aren't refugees, which have proven over and over again they're not refugees. And they're nothing but undercover operatives and agents and soldiers, because they're wreaking havoc in Western Europe. And Eastern Europe has said from the beginning, oh, hell no, we ain't allowing them into our country. And most of Eastern Europe has escaped much, if not all, of the turmoil that Western Europe is now facing.
Exactly.
Because they haven't let them in.
Yeah, and because they're not stupid,
Look, they've been occupied before. It's called the Soviet Union, and the Russians, they know what occupation is like.
And also, stop calling them refugees. They are ununiformed soldiers. They are an ununiformed invading force. Sorry if there's noise in the background. The trash man's driving by. But also another thing I wanted to point out, with the global warming thing, and the people who still desperately cling to this myth that is not happening. Do you remember the old saying, you can't change the weather? Well, yeah, that's true, but a Democrat can still try and charge you for it.
Yeah, that is true.
I've said it before. Show me where global warming accepts cash payments, and I'll stop calling it a money grab. Hey, you can pollute as long as you pay us. Well, I'm still polluting, though. Yeah, but you can pay us because we'll punish you for it. But that doesn't remove pollution. No, but you're punished for it. How does that work? How does that, if your goal is to end global warming, how does that help anything?
Well, again, it doesn't, because there isn't any global warming. They have no way to they have no way to stop this climate. Look, we've gone through the whole morphing thing of it. This is actually not new. There were signs of the global warming church rearing its ugly head just after World War I. That's how far back this stuff goes. Yeah. Back then it was, man was changing. We were like 50 years into the Industrial Revolution, and already we were changing the entire climate of the planet. We didn't know anything back then. We don't know anything today, other than the fact that we do know that we cannot affect the weather patterns on this planet to such a magnitude as to permanently change the climate in one direction or another. We just don't have that ability yet. Now, maybe someday someday when we get to Star Trek level and we have weather nets, we can do that. But will we ever do that?
Yeah. But hey, the scary part is we're getting closer to Star Trek every day, man.
Yeah, it's kind of exciting and scary at the same time, I know.
Yeah, I mean, you've talked about it on your show. 3D printers are nothing more than food replicators on the Enterprise. It's like, well, I'll just 3D print my sandwich, and that's what a 3D printer is. It's a replicator.
Yeah, it is a form of we are definitely, and they're getting cheaper and faster, and they're able to replicate. Well, I mean, for people to think that it's nothing more than a high-tech toy, that's not true. They're actually printing many kinds of. They're printing artificial limbs that work now. So, I mean, it's not one whole limb that they're printing all at once. They print the parts and they put the parts together. But still, they're printing it. They're not doing the old-fashioned molding and shaping.
You hit the nail on the head when you said it's both fascinating and frightening. And most things that are fascinating have an element of fear to them. So I take that with a grain of salt, but I guess every generation has said it's an amazing time we live in, but man, it is an amazing time we live in.
Yeah, but I'm not so sure I want to live in this because we're the generations, plural, that are going to have to go through the pain to sort this out for the future generations that aren't even thought of yet. And if anybody thinks this is going to stop, this pain is going to end soon. No, this pain is going to outlast us. I mean, there are very few people alive today that are going to be alive in the year 2100. I mean, let's be honest about it. None of us are getting out of this life alive. And let's be serious. 2100, although it may sound like it's far away, it is pretty close, but most of us are not going to get that far because it is, 83 years away.
Yeah. God knows I'm not, as I light my second cigarette of this phone call. Real quick before I let you go, because my gig. It's the same thing with my videos. As soon as the cigarette's gone, I'm gone. But I do got to say a couple things. Anyone out there who in California who can vote for Antonio Sabato Jr., you need to vote for Antonio Sabato Jr. Anyone out there who can vote for Kid Rock, you need to vote for Kid Rock. Anyone out there in New York who can vote for Joe Concannon, you need to vote for Joe Concannon. And I know what a lot of you are saying. A New York City Council in Queens? What's that got to do with me? Well, I'm going to tell you what it's got to do with you. And I'm being serious here. I'm not being a salesman. We can't make this country great again until we make our cities great again. We need to take them back street by street, house by house, block by block. And that's where we have to start. This is a ground level thing. We are going to rout the left. As long as the Republicans do not continue to shoot themselves in the foot, we can rout the left. We can wake them up. We can open their eyes and show them, hey, you know what? We like America first. We want America first. We no longer sing the song of globalism. And I get it. We've got Trump as president, but don't you think he needs a little help? Don't you think he needs some people in Congress and in the Senate who are willing to watch his back? Well, that's Kid Rock. That's Antonio Sabato Jr. These are the guys. It's not just California. It's not just Michigan. It's about America first, and it's about sending people to Washington that believe in America first.
Amen. Although I think Kid Rock needs to use his government name I can't picture him being called Senator Kid.
I can. Let's not forget he is the American badass.
Yeah. By the way, as Tip O'Neill says, and I always give Tip O'Neill credit for saying this because it's so true. All politics is local.
It is, and it's true. I mean, I worry that I don't worry about these polls. I don't believe in these polls. They don't affect me. And CNN needs to understand these polls don't affect anyone else either. But the thing is, we can't. This Trump movement needed to be more always, and we've talked about it. It's always needed to be more about more than just getting Trump elected. Which was a huge part of it, but. It's still a movement. We still need to. We can't just sit back and go, well, Trump's president, because if we do that, he's just going to be left hanging in the breeze. And he's a fighter. He'll fight. He'll go down swinging, but he'll still go down if he doesn't have people. We're seeing it now with his own party. Wishy-washy, if not outright, backstabbing. We're seeing it now. We're seeing that even the best man for the job needs good people around him, and he needs good people that are going to help him. And I honestly believe that, I've told you before in private how I admire Antonio Sabato Jr., the guy's in Hollywood. He stood up and told the Hollywood left to basically go after themselves. He says, I support Trump. I believe in America first. I am an immigrant and I feel no guilt about saying come here legally. And obviously you can only imagine what that would have done to any kind of acting career he was still hoping to have, but he was still brave enough to do it. James Woods, another guy, he's another guy who's just told Hollywood to F off. He says, if you're not going to hire me, you're not going to hire me, but I'm not going to play the game anymore and lie to people and tell them that this is okay, knowing that I'll be sheltered from these bad decisions and bad ideas because I don't want to see it happen to other people.
Yeah, that is, yeah. And Scott Baio. I think somebody told me that Scott Baio was actually going to run. I hadn't seen that yet. By the way, I'm privileged to be followed by Scott Baio. By the way, I got to put that.
By the way, I am privileged to be followed by Antonio Sapato Jr. twice now. One on a deleted account and one on my new account. But if you're followed by Scott Baio, then you have to reach out to him and get him to make. Do you remember the old after school specials? Scott Baio was king of the after school specials back in the late 70s and 80s. He needs to do one where he's a lib. You know how everything always goes horribly wrong in an after school special, and then at the end he has to come around and become a Republican, or a conservative. Republican might be a dirty word. I think that would be the funniest spoof video ever. I tried to get him to do it, but he's got a lot of followers, so I'm pretty sure he never saw my tweets,
We'll have to work on that one. Sounds pretty good.
Yeah. All right, Rod. Thank you very much for your time. I'll be listening in. You have a good one.
All right. Thanks, Tom. Bye-bye. I would like to, it's California, so I can't vote out in California, but, if I'm a law-abiding citizen, since I'm a law-abiding, constitutional-believing citizen, I can't vote in California. But if I were to decide to turn into a liberal, I probably could vote in California. But if I were to turn liberal and vote in California, even though I live in New Hampshire, I'd still vote for Scott Baio if he was running. Just saying.
What if I told you that you could lose weight simply by drinking coffee? Change your coffee, change your life. Our gourmet estate-grown coffee is infused with powerful herbs that help you melt fat and keep you from feeling hungry for 6+ hours. Get results or your money back. Order yours today at skinnycoffeeshop.com. That's skinnycoffeeshop.com. Tea and water also available. skinnycoffeeshop.com.
Have a legal problem and need some serious legal advice? Then you're listening to the wrong podcast.
Any facts we say here are probably wrong. And any analysis of the law should not be followed.
There you go. Reasonable Men are here to take a twisted look at the law.
Stack your hay right.
Learn in hand. Best name in law school.
Check us out on iTunes, reasonablemen.com, or on your favorite podcast app.
Reasonable Men are back.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
We've all heard of male enhancement, but now there's an expert on true male enhancement in the areas that really count. In Herb Ellis's book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, you'll find answers to questions like, why doesn't she want to have sex? A quick start, quick results workout guide, plus what you can do as a side hustle to make money now. With all the great tips in this book, every man can benefit. Get the book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, on Amazon.com.
It's pretty interesting about the things that go on in our daily lives that we take for granted, that we don't pay attention to until it's gone. Well, as promised, we're getting into Future Shock. I know it's getting close to the end of the program, but here's a story about one of your favorite, or used to be favorite, programs that is going bye-bye. And you probably haven't used it in a while anyway, so you won't even notice if it does go bye-bye. But Adobe is going to pull the plug on Flash, Flash Player. And it's been suffering from years of waning popularity, and this began when Apple decided not to use and support Adobe Flash on the iPhone back in 2008. So as of at the end of 2020, Adobe will retire Flash. And now you've probably noticed that in many places that still utilize Flash, you'll probably see something that says, please, you must activate or allow Flash Player. And it just doesn't automatically load up anymore, so you have to ask for it. There are many alternatives today that are faster and slimmer and cheaper and prettier than Adobe Flash. But it's been around for such a long period of time, and you probably didn't even notice that it was waning. You probably didn't. Well, half the time you don't even notice, all this stuff that comes and goes. But Flash is a big one, and really what it means, it signifies, is that we're moving into a different kind of software and a different type of code in the software. That is because these programs, they're doing a lot. So if we use the old type of coding, they would be massive lines of code. They're already still massive lines of codes, but these things would be huge programs. So they've got to use different types of programming code in order to slim these things down to make them simpler and more secure. Because the bigger your code is, the more likely you're going to have weaknesses and that can be exploited. So the tighter I do know that much. The tighter your code is, then the harder it is for people to get into it, the more secure it is. So in other words, the fewer lines of code that you have, the more secure your software is going to be, because there's less room for error and chinks in that armor for somebody to get in, and there's less room for people to get in. But speaking of getting in, New York is studying a textilizer technology. New York State is set to study the use of a device known as the textilizer that would allow police to determine whether a motorist involved in a crash was texting while driving. Governor Andrew Cuomo announced Wednesday that he's directing the governor's Traffic Safety Committee to examine the technology as well as the privacy and constitutional questions it could raise. The device is called the textualizer because of its similarity to the breathalyzer, which is used to identify drunk drivers. Now, privacy advocates have questioned whether the technology use would violate personal privacy. I don't know how this would work. Would they attach it to your phone and tell your phone to breathe into the... here, breathe into this textilizer here, Mr. Phone. And will they be like Volkswagen and have software on some of these cell phones that will lie that will lie to the textilizer? Kind of like the diesel thing with Volkswagen, which they've just been recently, found guilty of, and fines and all that kind of stuff. You can get away with fooling the government for a little while, and unless you're approved to fool the government, you're not going to get away with it forever. And they're going to come and bring the hammer down on you, as it were. Well, we're out of time for today, folks, but we will be back here tomorrow. Tomorrow is Thursday, Military Tribute Thursday, so don't miss out. We'll see you in about 21 hours. Have a wonderful hump day afternoon. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Rod Eccles. I'm out.
Damn, it feels good to be a Clinton. Damn, it feels good to be a Clinton. A shameless politician always plays her cards right. Got a crew for the fight on the airwaves. Lapdogs in the press keep their mouths tight. Cause a Clinton never needs to explain what, why it is what they done or with who. A real Clinton knows that they're entitled, and you don't get to know what they do.
What difference does it make?
For a Clinton, what's loaded in some fat apple file? A Clinton plays the victim for promotion. A Clinton kills it off with a smile. Damn, it feels good to be a Clinton. A server full of secrets ain't no thing. Damn, it feels good to be a Clinton. Nothing ever hits with the sting.